It's an ancient land. It's an ancient land. Sounds of freedom, victory, ancient sovereign land that never been conquered, and I celebrate the victory of the Battle of Adwa, 1896. Marcus Garvey read about the victory of the Abyssinian land. Never conquered. Through that lead to I chanting Ethiopia World Federation, back of the movement, the UNIA, and I chant for Ethiopia. And I know that Ethiopia cannot be conquered. The red, brown, and green is I freedom. And this year and tired of Ethiopia, that this man was born there, and of Zion it shall be said that this and that man was born in her. And the highest he shall establish her. Now the high shall come with the right of his people, that this man was born there, Ethiopia, as well as the singers and the players of instruments shall be there. Harlem and Springs, and the throne living high. To the Maui, I listen to and I chant songs of freedom. It's a joyful day to know that I country that we chant for. Never conquered. Yeah, and we can talk about the victory, and we can talk about the failures from the fascism. We always try and invade our land. The aggressors, and I chant death, black and white oppressor, in the eye, and freedom for Ethiopia. Stand predominant, got a man with the eye. But then I will chant say, let the words of my mouth and the very identification of my heart, the humble accept my sign, really I slash the first, and I strength, and I deemer, the whole land living and reign and forever and ever. Hear the eye? Ethiopia is an ancient land, Ethiopia, that's where I and I come. I chant for the black people of the world. Seeing the persecution where I go through in a different from the Indians. And I used to love to watch the cowboy brutalize and beat the Indian until way up in my 20s me get to see the fallacy. You know, the television and the movies do a lot apart from the 400 years of slavery, and I find myself forward. Really, and the song from Marcus Garvey we encourage the Rastafari movement to look towards Ethiopia, not only to serve Ethiopia as an God and King. Ethiopia, it is the continent, It hurt me hard to see where that I still use the word Africa, I deal with the continent when I know say the Africa, the pilgrimage and the disrespect and the rape we're going to the land and we still call the land Africa. But that's just it, because we don't see Africa in the holy book. We don't see Africa in the Bible. We see Ethiopia in the firmaments, saying way before we see Egypt. Now fight against Egypt, but we do a chance say Ethiopia first. Egypt second. Then over the years that I chant, man, I people get lost. You know, easy for undo the 400 years of the colonial system and find myself to want to focus on the land. Years and years ago, Marcus Garvey, they say we have to focus on the land and serve with God. Because that is very important to I, because not for I serve all kind of things. But I'm talking about graven images or through misconception of other races. We have to stay focused on the mainland. But when I come and disrespect the Bible, the holy book, we part of that Rastaman use and find the glory of Haile Selassie. And Marcus Garvey never go into it like that. He say, I must serve I God to the respective hills of Ethiopia. And he explained it. He said, who want to serve the God of Jacob and Abraham and them people there? You can do that. So that we come with a knowledge of knowledge that I never know that Una Brown and enough ones from the UNIA during the 1920s and early 30s read the Kebra Niggas.
Yeah, hold on.
If you don't read the Kebra Niggas, you're not going to deny certain things where in the scriptures or opposite. But Emperor Haile Selassie make I right to know it no matter which language the scriptures written in, it remain one and the same. Really? So we're saying that the rivers of Havilah and Kaisen, they run down the Euphrates of Ethiopia in Genesis. Alright, coming to right now, we know say if Ethiopia is a selfish country and decide that they don't want the water to leave that nation, which is actually the Nile run through the continent of Ethiopia, not Africa. I'm not using Africa at this time. We use Ethiopia because that we see in the scriptures. The Nile fill 11 countries, nation as a matter of fact, a nation in Africa. And if it was like the Nile have run from Egypt to Ethiopia, things said they would have treated I nice. No! It just happened that the Nile run from Ethiopia to Egypt. And they want to send this respect to Ethiopia. And the scale of 1 to 10, Ethiopia is like 9 richest countries on the continent. And Egypt is number 4. Imagine that. And they can't survive without the water from I. Sudan, survive without the water from the Nile River, the Blue Nile or the White the White Nile is the Pison River and the Euphrates that we see in the firmaments of the Bible. We make I say that Ethiopia are the Zion on earth, the physical Zion. Cannot want to question. I say, well, wait there. Ethiopia I serve it with the spectacles of the Godhead, because again we get colonized and you can take definitely less than 200 years to find a way home over the 400 years of oppression. And we give thanks for that because it could have gone for more. But we got leaders that stand up. Really high. Ras Makonnen, now I'm going to Menelik, yes, but Ras Makonnen, Ras Kassa. Ras Kassa chop up 500 Italian minced like macaroni. That was the war, and literally that's what triggered the 1896 war of the Battle of Adwa. Italians was all over Ethiopia at them times there. Italians all over Ethiopia. You got even a family from Empress Johannes was waiting for supplies from the Italians to attack Menelik. But it was a famine in 1896. Really high. A famine. And why is they there waiting wait for supply from Italy for to attack them own brother? Someone spilled the news. We hear say that they want them up a Menelik camp. I eat raw meat and I drink Tej night time I get drunk. And we are starved and I wait from supplies from the enemy for a fight against them. Eventually they was concede and join with Menelik. So when the Italians come, that's why the Battle of Adwa was red. It was a final battle in the year, leap year. My brethren, they have a birthday on the leap year, the 29th of February. So every 4 years they got. But it was a decisive battle. Of one said the final battle was the second. That was the second. It was the first, because it was a leap year. So they was fighting 28th into 29th. And then the decisive battle was the 1st of March, 1896. Yes, it wasn't easy. But I had joy and victory from the bloodshed. Just like the bloodshed we happened in 1936, when Giovanni washed your blood in hand, as a matter of fact, with I people blood. But we overcome. We chant this day as Victory Day, because when Ethiopia celebrates Ethiopian New Year, it cannot always fall on the 11th of September. Sometimes it's the 9th, the 10th, sometimes it's the 12th. So even though I celebrate the Battle of Adwa, the decisive battle, the 1st of March 1896, today is only the 2nd of March 2022. So we still, if we even do it tomorrow, we still on point. The colonized thing is that we have to get it to the same date every year. It don't work so. Because nothing happens the same, it's just that we consciously remember you're going to be 99 point something close. But it never be the same, but we consciously can make it like the same. Really high. Really high. Realize we're there, so the UNIA, the Ethiopian World Federation, and the Rastafari movement. The Rastafari movement, one could say split up in a Bingi, Bobo, and 12 tribe, and what have you. But the consciousness of I already red, green, and gold, and His Majesty, Ethiopia at the forefront, we never get conquered. And that's how we bring I together. Our unity is strength.
Yes, sir.
And I hear Mr. Duncan talk about the economics that I for overcome. They have a tune where Bob Marley chant, the word sound of Haile Selassie, he call it war. But at the end of the speech, His Majesty say, yeah, we can overcome and more can be done. Because the evils of colonialism is economics. Economics. And that is the problem, major problem that the Rastafari movement have. The Godhead that we have to overcome, where Marcus Garvey talked about to serve Ethiopia to the spectacles. Serve by like Godhead as the spectacles of Ethiopia. Make the Rastafari movement only focusing on the spiritual part, never the economics. So Rastaman will always look poor, and as you say, we couldn't have a skyscraper for left for the youth them. But the teachings, one says His Majesty not teach, one's nothing. But the things that I read from His Majesty's selected speech and the philosophy of Marcus Garvey put the Rastafari movement in perspective. But it's economic at the base that's missing. I go to school for learn accountant and them thing there. You have to leave school and come do that. But the teachings which part Emperor Haile Selassie get from his father Mokanen is just so wonderful and great. And I would love to give that to all the youth and them. And the youth and them in the community. Not one son enough for all the youth and them, because out of that, really, remember Malcolm X's mother stand up against the system. Louis Little stand up against the system. They put you in a mental institution for 25 years because she didn't bow. And when the Rastaman said didn't bow, she decided she not sell her land. Then do all kind of thing to make she sell her land. And she don't sell her land. She make sure that Malcolm X read the papers of the UNIA. Malcolm X have to read that. Once he saw Tupac mother make him a fool, do enough homework and nothing. That's why the rapper they was so intellectual first with vocabulary. But Malcolm X's mother, even though she was in an institution and she hold on for land, she taught her son Malcolm X to read the UNIA, not as no punishment. Just read it, because knowledge increase until him get the next to read it and read the paper from Grenada. We know about Grenada, Bishop rise up and then kill him. Enough one rise up, Bob Marley rise up and then kill him, Marcus Garvey rise up, Koji rise up. We can name it, you go down the list. Saying, why and I said to them, the unity and the consciousness, this part this little man Marcus Garvey, trigger. They fight him in Harlem, man, we go Harvard and this, but what? Enough of them we fight him, their name no live. And no one now celebrate them. They got millions of Rasta in South Africa when they talk about Marcus Garvey and the Rastafari movement. Harlem, right to the Harlem where the movement started. Really, I consider the speech because, you know, respect Mr. Duncan, but that does come out of because we beat drum last night and chanted Haile Selassie. And we're there upon a parade and in an ancient place we owned by black people. We own that founded 1904. Musicians couldn't just come, they go sing or go perform. You have to in our union, and you can't go join the white man union. So see, that's a New Amsterdam Musical Association, founded 1904 and incorporated 1905. Musician, Nat King Cole, Duke Ellington, all of them was there for make Haile Selassie at 138th Street, 1954, when he delivered a gold cross to Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Love history in Harlem, black people rise up, and I can't feel. Selassie. Empress Emma Young, I want you to come take the mic, you can introduce, you got to introduce, but this is Rasta Group and the Navy in Harlem. Kalamari.
Give thanks, King. Yes, I. Well, first I want to give thanks and praises for all those that came out today. Who's here is supposed to be here. Who's not, they miss out. Yes. So, there's such a nice array of us here, and that, you know, unity is the key. We can't do anything unless we work together, you know, and economics and education are two things, yes? Education. Now, you know what we've been through as a people, and what we've been through and what has been done to us. It's not natural to send your children to the enemy to go to school. So there's education, and then there's miseducation. So where we are today is because we've received a lot of miseducation. They've been educating our children to serve them. It is time for us, which the Planedemic has helped us do, is to take our children back or forward to a new and old reality. The reality of segregation. The reality of where black people take care of black people's business. Yeah. Here we are in 2022, and we don't have a route that we fly from the Caribbean to Africa 2 or 3 times a week doing business. We're sleeping. We talk, we can talk the money, and we talk economics, but do we do it? How many manufacturing plants do we have that we from here in the diaspora have set up in Africa? Yes? And coffee. Coffee, they call it black gold. It comes from Ethiopia. How is Starbucks the head of the coffee in America? Where is the Ethiopian coffee shops? That's on us. This is things we have to do. Not talk it, but do it. We have a unique, Ethiopia has a unique coffee ceremony. You can't get that in Starbucks. Okay, America drinks the most coffee in the world, right? We have to step forward. We have to take that place and put those things. Harlem, I always say, if I can't be in Africa, let me be in home.
That's it.
You understand? Because that's rhythm. I was in Syracuse now for the last 3 months. I got off the bus the other day, and I came to Harlem, and I was like, oh, thank you! You know, it has that energy and that vibe, you know. Listen, and I've gotten so many calls about this parade. They said that Harlem, the people of Harlem, they needed this. They need that energy. Now, another thing I noticed good about the pandemic was some of them people that during the pandemic here in Harlem, they must have went back home because I'm seeing less of them other people here. So I'm really happy about that. I'm very happy about that. And I hope they continue to go back to where they are because Harlem belongs to us. And we have to make sure they know it. We have to have more parades. We have to actually take that forward, take back Harlem, because Harlem is ours. Yes? So now we have a lot of dignitaries here with us today. Yes? We have the President General, yes, of the UNIA. Give thanks and praises, yes, for being here with us. We have an international president of the Ethiopian World Federation. For those who don't know about the Ethiopian World Federation, it started here in Harlem when our brothers and sisters were helping our people in Ethiopia. I got a double thing here. I think it's because of my phone. Echo. Yes. When our brothers and sisters we were helping our brothers and sisters in Ethiopia. We sent money, funds, pilots. We pilots from Black America went there and taught pilots from Ethiopia flying. Yes. In fact, there's a pilot named Dr. Robinson. Yes. So there's a lot of history amongst us, both on both sides of the water. And I would like to introduce now, without further ado, I'm going to first introduce our UNIA president, who is our Grand Marshal for the parade, Brother Duncan. Could you give us a few words? Please tell them about that by Black
Empress.
Yes, brothers and sisters, this is a wonderful day to be here with my brothers and sisters from the Ethiopian World Federation. It's extremely an honor. Mr. President, nice to be here with you. Family, it's just a good thing, a good day when we are here with families. And the sister asked, where's the factory that we are building? You know, Mr. Garvey asked those same questions back in 1914 on a trip from London to Kingston. After reading the book Up From Slavery to find out about the situations in America, after traveling north, south, all of Central America, South America, after traveling England and Europe and seeing the conditions of African people there, after seeing all that, he decided to travel back to Jamaica. And on that trip, one night, he met a Jamaican brother who had a wife from the Basuto land. You know, the Basuto land is that country that is surrounded by South Africa. And there he was getting a first-hand experience of what life was like on the continent of Africa for African people, black people. And that night, Mr. Garvey went to bed and he said, tears came to his eyes because he had seen everything, but the worst thing was to realize that our people were experiencing these things in Africa. And that's when he asked those prominent questions that night. Where's the black man king and his kingdom? Where is people of high places? Where is his government? Mr. Garvey said, I couldn't find them, I couldn't see them, therefore I'm going to make them. Mr. Garvey decided to build a city in Liberia. It was supposed to be that super city that was going to overrun the Europeans and chase them out of Africa. He had organized the Pan-African Army through the various divisions and legions all over Africa. But with the intruders, with the invaders, with the sellouts, Mr. Garvey lost that deal where America got Firestone to take that deal away. If you go to Liberia right now, you will see Firestone and you will see the land where we should have built that empire. But brothers and sisters, Mr. Garvey said it best. He said, what man has done, man can do. And we're going to build that city. We are going to build that city. That's why I love all of Africa. I love all of Africa. And all of Africa, we're going to claim it. But I've taken the responsibility with my brothers and sisters to carry on some of the work in Liberia. We have to work on different fronts because all of Africa is ours. So what we have done so far, we take back groups of people twice to Ghana and Liberia. Okay, sister, thank you. Yeah, and we have to let Africans know that we're Africans and we have to claim it. So what we have done, we have started a farm in Liberia. It's called Liberty Farm. And we're growing all types of vegetables. We're selling to the local markets. The farm is just the beginning. Because agriculture, there hasn't been any empire that rose up without agriculture being number one. You cannot find any Kemet before the invaders came into Kemet, Ethiopia. It was all that. So brothers and sisters in Liberia, what sister asked about the factory? We're building a factory. We're starting the planning process, buying the equipment and the supply to build a factory on Liberty Farm in Liberia right now. We have roughly $300,000 worth of equipment we're taking because we're going to set up the factory. For those Jamaicans who like bammies, we're going to be processing bammies there and send here. We're going to be processing season. We're going to be making coconut oil in the factory there. We're giving people jobs. We're going to be growing an unlimited amount of rice in Liberia. There's a place it's in a county named Nimba, the place named Baden. And 400 years ago, they took a lot of our ancestors from Baden, who were rice growers, and brought them here. And it was these rice growers from Baden in Liberia that grew rice here in North Carolina, South Carolina, and in the Caribbean. Those people are still there. Many of our people were captured there, brothers and sisters. So the economic portion of it, we need to practice. As I said, growing up, I was telling a story outside. The brother made a statement and it brought me into addressing the situation. I have two friends I went to school with in Jamaica. Two young ladies. And they're making a whole lot of money. They're making a whole lot of money. So I went to Jamaica. Sister, how many minutes I have?
So you're finished.
All right. I want to respect the program. Yeah. I went to Jamaica and I went to dinner with these two sisters. And one of them said to me, you know, Mikey, because they call me Mikey. Yeah, if I didn't know better, I would think you're a Rasta. I said, if you didn't know better, you'd think I'm a Rasta. I am a Rasta. So, she said, oh, Mikey, you're talk about Rasta this and you talk about Rasta that. What Rasta own? Show me the skyscraper where Rasta own. Show me this what Rasta have. And I said to both of them, both of you want to hang out with me, right? Because you like me. You think I'm doing well financially, so you want to be around me. I said, it's the Rastaman philosophy that brought me here. It's the Rastaman philosophy that gave me that foundation. And I said to them, when you're going to judge the Rasta, when you're going to judge anyone, Judge them and what their responsibilities were. In 1930, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, was it the Rastaman responsibility to build skyscrapers?
No.
No! The Rastaman responsibility was to teach. We needed the teaching more than anything else. We were coming with that slavery mentality where we are worshipping other God, we were worshipping other kings than our own, and the Rastaman pointed us in the right direction. The Rastaman taught us how to keep our body healthy, that we can be wealthy and healthy and do the work that we're supposed to do. So when we judge the Rastaman, we have to make sure we're judging him based on his responsibility, what he was supposed to do in life. And did he do what he was supposed to do in life? Yes. Right. Is the responsibility changing now a little bit? Of course. You know why the responsibility is changing now? Because we have learned. The Rastaman has taught. Therefore, we have learned, so we can carry on the works to build. So brothers and sisters, we are building in Africa. I'm going to Africa next week. Maybe about a week and a half from now. And I'm going to speak to the president of Liberia as well, where I want him to give anyone who's willing to come there citizenship in Liberia. And we're creating the groundwork that if anyone comes there, we can make it a little bit easier for you the first 6 months to get you in, so you don't have to worry about much. We can have some place for you to live. Brothers and sisters, I have to leave this place. I don't know about you, but I have to leave this place. This place is not good for my soul. It's not good for my health. I gotta leave Babylon. What did Johnny Clark say? Leave out of Babylon, Rastaman. Leave all the wicked man. Brothers and sisters, why should we tarry here? Where we have to be convincing people that black life is matter, black life matter. Why do we want to tarry here, brothers and sisters? Brothers and sisters, let's get our act together. Let's get our finances together and go build Africa. The big skyscrapers that the Rastaman them educate us to build. No, we can go build them. But brothers and sisters, this place was never meant for us, even health-wise. Brother, 2 years ago, the best thing happened to me. I was in Liberia, and on March 7th, no, I went down March 7th, March 21st, I'm leaving Liberia to come back to America. And when I got to the airport in Liberia, they said, sorry, Mr. Duncan, because of the COVID thing, you're not taking any more passengers. Brothers and sisters, that was the best thing that happened to me. Because I couldn't explain to my wife how I'm going to stay longer in Africa, you know what I mean? So I called them and I said, sweetie, I can't come home. They won't allow me. I was in Africa for 8.5, 9 months. Brothers and sisters, and when I went to Africa, I was having a problem situation with my stomach where I wake up in the morning and I don't feel good. I don't feel like eating. I have to wait until 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock to eat. Brothers and sisters, being in Africa for the first 8 weeks, it was gone. It was gone. Because I'm in my natural environment, eating the food I am supposed to eat. Brothers and sisters, we're living in a foreign environment. We're eating foreign food. The food that the European eat is not for us, brothers and sisters. Tell me, answer me something. Do you ever see the black bear eating the white bear food? Or do you ever see the white bear eating the black bear's food? It doesn't work. The white bear food doesn't fit the black bear system, and if you eat it, you're going to get sick. The food that we have here doesn't fit us. The climate that's here, where we don't get enough sun, is not good enough for us. So what it brings on? It brings on hypertension, it brings on diabetes, and breast cancer get extra aggressive in our sisters. This place is not for us. Most of us, if we check our vitamin D levels right now, most of us, 90% of us sitting right here, our vitamin D levels will be low because our skin is not made for this environment. We need the raw natural sun for us to get the benefit, and when we don't get the natural benefit, we get sick. So brothers and sisters, we have to leave out of Babylon. We have to go back home. But while we're here, let's build. Let's build. What gets me high is to see black people working together, black people making it happen. And I'll tell you that I have some brothers and sisters, 200 of us, we collected $1.7 million. Those of you who invested in the rock, please stand up. Please stand up if you have shares. If you have shares in the rock. Please stand up. You have shares in the rock. Come on forward, brother. Yeah, you're coming. Brothers and sisters, this is our business. This is a business for black people. Every black man must buy a share in the rock. And every black man is an owner. Even if you haven't purchased your share yet, you're still an owner because this is for us. So if we have our own business, we don't need to shop in ABC supermarket or Key Food supermarket or Pathmark or Stop and Shop. We shop in our own supermarket that we own. We started that business and do some craziness. No, but now we're into building, race building. And brothers and sisters, the months after that, we collected a total of $1.7 million and we opened the rock. We start selling to a lot of our restaurants. Some of our restaurants don't buy from us because they don't think that we should be in this type of business. Some of our people see supermarket. I don't want to go to ABC supermarket, so please get it here. And brothers and sisters, if we control our spending, everything that we want, the skyscrapers, we'll be getting. If our problems are in Ethiopia, Liberia, Trinidad and Tobago, Haiti, anywhere our problems are, we can deal with them. Through our economics, we can build our own schools. We don't have to send our children into these schools. But are we willing to sacrifice? Are we willing to sacrifice? Yes. Let me tell you something. My friend had the Marcus Garvey program in Brooklyn. A tall Cameroonian brethren named Venge. And Venge was on Church Avenue. Yeah, 5105 Church Avenue to be exact. Downstairs from him was a Korean store.
Talk about it.
Venge knew the Korean man very good. Venge always buy from him. And he said to Venge, you know, Venge, I own 7 of these stores. That's what he said to Venge. And he said, I own 7 of these West Indian stores. That was his exact words. Imagine you have West Indian stores and West Indians don't own them. You have West Indian stores and West Indians don't work in them. But it's a West Indian store with Koreans, you know what I mean? So Venge said to him, where do you get all the money to open all these stores?
Association.
The man said, you know, I go to the Korean Association. And the Korean Association give me all the money that I need. And I open this store. But listen to this carefully. He said, I make sure I pay back so another Korean can get a loan. So Wenger said, now, Mr. Lee, like how we're friends, like how I buy from you every day, can you introduce me to the Korean Association? Mr. Lee started going like this, and then Mr. Lee starts stuttering. No! Korean Association, Korean people. Our money with people who suppress us. We make excuse why we won't spend with us. We get excuse, no, I don't want to spend at the rock because Mr. Duncan is going to get rich. And we can't let black people get rich. Brothers and sisters, but now, I expect that from the regular people on the street. But I don't expect that from the people who have been trained by His Imperial Majesty. People who have been trained by Marcus Garvey. People who have been trained by Leonard Howell. People have been trained by Prince Emmanuel. And I can name 1,500 people that we have been trained by. Those of us who have been trained, We don't need to be convinced. I shouldn't be begging you. I know a brethren, a personal brethren of mine who's a Rasta. And he will never shop at the Rock. He will never shop there. But you know what? We just leave them alone. But what we're doing, we're financing everybody else. Italy would like to invade Ethiopia sometime again. If it takes them 200 years, they're still going to want to do it again. But you know what happened? We go financing their business. You know, in the 1930s when the war started in Ethiopia, Carlos Cooks. I don't know if most of you know Carlos Cooks.
Footworker for Marcus Garvey.
Brother loved Marcus Garvey more than he loved himself. Carlos Cooks recruited the UNIA members, recruited the ANPM members and sent them to Ethiopia. Carlos Cooks recruited them, and you know what Carlos Cooks did in Harlem? If you think you're bad, go buy from an Italian icy shop. Carlos Cooks make it known in Harlem, do not support the Italian icy man, because the Italian icy man is financing Italy against Ethiopia. And if you think that you are bad, Carlos Cooks can't tell me to not support my good icy man. I love icy. And if you, Carlos Cooks would come to you and say, brother, no, Carlos Cooks had 3 brigades in Harlem. And he would come to you and say, brother, please stick to the black businesses. Please support the black businesses. It's good for us. We can hire our children. Unless Brother Mikey done, because he had it done. Imagine you say, me had it done. Me not listen to Carlos Cooks. And you still go support the icy man. The 2nd Brigade would come and give you a visit and said, if you go to that shop again, this is going to happen. The 3rd Brigade was called the Broken Leg Brigade. And that's how Carlos Cooks existed. He kept order in Harlem. He kept black people together in Harlem. Carlos Cooks was Malcolm X's teacher. Carlos Cooks warned him. Carlos Cooks said, young man, you love the media too much. The media doesn't like us. Carlos Cooks warned him over and over and over again, stay away from the media. Malcolm X was a good brother. He was born in the UNIA, trained in the UNIA, brought up in the UNIA. He deviated somewhat, but after he deviated and got straight, he came back to Carlos Cooks again. So brothers and sisters, we have it all up to, it's up to us. We have our own business. It's not my business. It's not your business. It's our business. And a share is there for you. But after you buy your share, you come there and shop. And work. And work. Where is Brother Dafarri? Come on out. Come on over here, brother. Hold on. First, let me ask you first. Sister, do we have any Christians up in here? Yeah. Hold on. Dafarri is my good friend, so I can talk about it. A loyal soldier to death. He volunteers at the Rock every single day. He leaves work where he gets paid and come to the Rock and work where he doesn't get paid. On his day off, he's at the Rock working for free. Every single day. This brother decided to come with us on our pilgrimage to Ghana and Liberia. And I warn you, if you're not conscious and you don't want to get conscious, just don't come. Because if you come with us on our pilgrimage, you're going to get conscious. And Brother Dafarri was a strong Christian. And I don't fight anyone for their spiritual belief or what they believe. And while some of the members would make jokes and say certain things about Christianity, I would try to ask them, not to do that because the UNIA accept all our brothers and sisters, regardless of which religious life you're coming from. But Dafarri came to Africa with us, and he's going through the pilgrimage. And by the time we reached the Ashanti kingdom, he started asking questions, and he's asking about Jesus Christ. So the brother who was doing the presentation said, "Brother, we don't worship through Jesus Christ here." Dafarri said, "How you mean you don't worship through Jesus Christ? Everything goes through Jesus Christ." And Dafarri was so perturbed, but the brother was going through a process. Yes. Then we went down to the last beach, where after being attacked and shackled, we walked for 400 miles, and we get to the last bath, so we can take our shower before we go to the dungeon. And then the brother there start talking about the role that Christianity played in the slavery and everything. And boy, Dafarri started going like this, and like Dafarri saying, "Man, you know, this is not right. I don't know, but I don't know." By the time we finished with the dungeons, Dafarri was done with his form of Christianity. Dafarri hasn't been back in the church since we came back. And it's not only Dafarri went through this process. Keisha, stand up. This young lady went through the same process with us a few months ago. Staunch Christian. I don't have any problem with anybody's religion, but she hasn't been back in the church, in that type of church. We have church, and we have churches for us. But what we're taking our people is, Brother Dafarri, thank you, Sister Keisha, thank you, is to show them our culture and our way of life. Brothers and sisters, I could talk forever because I'm with family, and I feel good. Yeah, I'm gonna get ready to wrap up. But brothers and sisters, everywhere I go, I take the voice and the spirit of the Honorable Marcus Garvey with me. I don't speak anywhere unless I bring his voice with me. I don't do anything. There's nothing that I have to create for myself. Everything that I speak, every word I speak, is from the tongue of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. Anything I do, Marcus Garvey left us a black print, and I govern my life by that black print. In us creating the rock, we call it the rock. The exact name is FACA Rock. F, Federation of African Caribbean American Restaurant Owners Corp. We shouldn't even have that, but a lot of our people are not conscious yet. Because if we don't have the Caribbean people are going to say, yeah, you know, what happened to Caribbean people? If we don't have A for America, American brothers, so we included everybody. It should just be the African Federation. So brothers and sisters, I live my life by the black prints left by the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. I'm the 10th successor to the Honorable, making me the 11th President General of the UNIA. I picked up Mr. Garvey's book when I was 17, and it was at that point I realized that I was not a Jamaican, but an African born in Jamaica. I know that I'm African, not because I was born in Africa, but because Africa was born in me, the Honorable Kwame Nkrumah. Brothers and sisters, Marcus Garvey fought for us. And in Harlem here, he planned for us. They took Mr. Garvey to trial. And Mr. Garvey was defending himself because he didn't believe he could get a fair trial. Mr. Garvey was getting the better of the U.S. attorney. And the U.S. attorney, when he got up to talk, he said, "Are you going to let the tiger go? Are you going to let the tiger go?" They convicted Mr. Garvey. Mr. Garvey said, "You have the tiger, but my cubs are roaming." Didn't we see the great Leonard Howell? who was one of the prime cubs of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey?
No, sir.
Excuse me, brother?
No, sir.
I don't understand.
Mr. Leonard was not a disciple of Marcus Garvey.
Okay.
In other words, they were competitors.
May I shed some light on you, brother, if I may?
Go right ahead.
Mr. Howell was a member of the UNIA.
Leonard Howell.
Leonard Howell, a very strong and dedicated member of the UNIA. Let me tell you, Elijah Muhammad. And brother, you and I can sit down and study, and I will show you where Leonard Howell was a member of the UNIA. Elijah Muhammad was a member of the UNIA. The Nation of Islam, they don't like to admit that. But you know what I say, brother? What you got to do is just speak the truth. Mr. Garvey said, truth crushed to the earth must rise again. Leonard Howell, some UNIA members are upset at Leonard Howell and Elijah Muhammad. They're upset with them. And we have to teach and say, no. We don't have any reason to be upset with Leonard Howell and Elijah Muhammad. And hear why they're saying they were upset with Elijah Muhammad and Leonard Howell. They're saying that these were two of the great brothers in the UNIA. With Marcus Garvey, working with Marcus Garvey. And they felt that after Marcus Garvey got convicted, then Leonard Howell went and started his own movement, which was the Rasta movement, and they thought that Elijah Muhammad went and started the Nation of Islam. Of course they did, but you have to realize, Leonard Howell went back to Jamaica. And at that point, it was tough to be a UNIA member, because they were literally hunting UNIA members, any supporter of Marcus Garvey. So for Leonard Howell to say that he's going with a more spiritual part of the movement, it was okay. And I told my brothers and sisters that it's okay, because in his movement, Leonard Howell continued to promote Marcus Garvey. Some may try to find differences, but there were more similarities than differences. Same thing with Elijah Muhammad. He created the Nation of Islam. People are saying that they abandoned the UNIA, but I don't see it that way. I see that these brothers had work to do, and we have to ask ourselves, did they do the work? Leonard Howell, yes, he sacrificed for our people. He basically died for our people. So we have to canonize him and thank him. But what we will do, sir, because we don't have enough time to go over the details, I can show you where Leonard Howell was a member of the UNIA.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, my brother. And thanks for giving me that patience and listening to me. Thank you, appreciate it. Yes, so brothers and sisters, they convicted Mr. Garvey. They locked him up in the federal penitentiary of Atlanta. They intended on killing Mr. Garvey in prison. Because 400 world leaders before the trial got together and said, are we going to make this one man destroy what we have built? So Mr. Garvey, as far as they're concerned, Mr. Garvey had to go. So brothers and sisters, they locked up Mr. Garvey in prison. And while in prison, Mr. Garvey was expecting for them to kill him. He wrote that famous letter. And he sent the letter to the UNIA divisions all over the world, explaining to the members. And the letter said, after my enemies are satisfied, I shall come back to serve. In life I shall be the same, but in death I shall be a terror to the foes of black liberty. If death has power, count on me to be the real Marcus Garvey. If I may come in a cyclone, pestilence, or as God would have me, black people, don't you know I shall never desert you and make your enemies triumph over you? Would I not go to hell 1,000,000 times for you? Would I not cry at the footstool of the Lord omnipotent for you, black people? Would I not walk the earth like the ghost of Macbeth for you, brother? Then why be sad? Cheer up and be assured that if it takes 1,000,000 years, the sins of our enemies shall visit the 1,000,000 generation of those who hinder and oppress us. Black people, if I die in Atlanta, my work then shall only begin, for I shall live in the spiritual to see the days of Africa's glory. Look for me in the whirlwind. Look for me in the storm. Look for me all around you. And when I am dead, wrap me in the mantle of the red, the black, and the green. For in the new life I shall rise again, and I'll bring with me countless millions who have died in the Caribbean, North America, and Africa to aid us in the fight for freedom, liberty, and life. Brothers and sisters, Marcus Garvey was the greatest man that ever walked earth. The ancestors knew that we as a people needed someone to save us. And he came not for the Jamaican people, not for the American people, not for the Liberian people, but for all of us. Brothers and sisters, thank you for listening to me. Thanks for giving that time. One God, one aim, one destiny.
Wow. I thought you was just getting started. You're already sitting down. I mean, you was warming us up. We needed this. It's a long time. I know a lot of these people in here. Long, many years. And we need this. We need to come together and do something. So now, I heard you say that they can buy a share.
Yes.
A share is available. So before you leave here today, I need you to have a table set up so you can tell them how they can buy the share. We don't want to leave it up in the air, because you know how people leave. We forget.
Yes.
And we're not forgetting while, while you rev them up now.
Yes.
Let's let them dig in their pockets and buy black.
Of course.
And where is the rock? What is the address?
It's 13205 Merrick Boulevard, it's Queens. It's a 15,000 square feet building.
Right, so we don't buy from there. We just talking.
Yes.
We don't put our money together. It's a social club. And I know Rastafari is not no social club. And neither is the Federation. If we don't talk about money and how we're going to put it together, we be hollering that we don't have any money. But everybody is in our neighborhood. They're there. They put their children through schools. He said that they don't want to give him the money because maybe Brother Duncan would get rich. But at least Brother Duncan, if we give him our money, he's at least going to be feeding black children. His own. Not Korean children. They eat off of us. The Chinese children, they send their children to the university off of what they get in our area. Where's your store in there?
And hiring black
So it's time. It's time for us to make a change. And the change could start with the rock today. Yes? So I want to introduce now, before we introduce the president of the Federation, I would like to introduce one of our presidents of one of our locals here in Queens, Local 12 of the Ethiopian World Federation. Michael White, come on. Come on here, Mike.
Yes,
Why?
yes.
Let me say that without Mikey, boy, this brethren, this is the organizing. I'm just his assistant.
No.
You understand? He's a real organizer. I mean, a real people person. Boy, it brings tears to my eyes. No, you're real.
Motivated by the people. Yes, President. Russ Iron. I want to give all the speakers who spoke already, like Russ Iron, who brought to our attention that we know today is what the 126th anniversary of the Battle of Adwa. That is what today is uniquely, that's 1896. Let's give Russ Iron a big hand. And then we have our, you say 11th, right? Because you're the 10th, so you're the 11th President General of the UNIA. My gosh, UNIA, what a history, what a legacy that Marcus Garvey left with us, you know what I mean? and I hear our brethren bring up about Leonard Howell.
Yes.
And you straighten that out because Leonard Howell and Marcus Garvey were contemporaries, same time period. And of course they knew one another, and of course they were collaborating, you know, and inspired each other, yes. So let us give our President General a strong round of applause. I am taking that opportunity to do this today because when I have a lot of Zoom meetings and we don't get the opportunity to round of applause.
Yeah,
I mean, you just show the clap on and it is good. I just want to share with everyone that on Sunday, the 27th, Sunday gone, our local 12 had a meeting with presentations from UNIA President Michael Duncan and the first assistant Raymond Dugue, and we also had Leroy Graham, our music consultant and specialist, who gave us a lecture on intellectual property. And it was really, really good. I just want to tell everyone that I got a lot of reviews after, you know, the people and the participants. It was over 70, and it was like 66, 67, but a lot of people had people around them, so it was over 70%. And that was our local presenting the UNIA. And as a matter of fact, this was a historical event where our beloved brother Michael Duncan also got sworn in as a member of the Ethiopian World Federation Local 12. Why is that important? It's important that we are here today as Irons or Rastafarians. As somebody said it too, of course. Independent Rastaman, UNIA organization, and the Ethiopian World Federation. What are we as leaders representing the people? Leadership have to realize today that we have to come together, you know, to break the barrier to us to have the strength to stand up against the wiles of the devil and what is facing us today. The victory of the battle of Adwa could never have been achieved unless all the racists in Ethiopia who have their own army came together to support Menelik, who was the emperor at the time, with their armies, and to have that unity within the tribes. Because you know the situation right now, so there's a tribal situation. But in 1896, all of those tribes and races came together for this monumental support that kept Ethiopia free from creation of time. Ethiopia has never been colonized and will never be colonized. And today that's why we're standing up for Ethiopia. Right. Why I said that too, just bear in mind that in 1896, His Majesty was there at 3.5 years old. Just a look at history. That means. So Emperor Menelik was the emperor. Queen Tai II was the empress. She played a valiant role. One of the things she did, I will never mention that, but we can, close in on some of the details of the war, that she diverted a river, right, cleverly, where the Italians were, and there was a drought, and one of the Italian soldiers lacking for thirst and lack for water because of the river diversion. So Empress Tai II, we could give Empress Tai II and Emperor Menelik a big hand too, for that valiant. And His Majesty Father Ras Makanen was the general of the army, the Ethiopian army. So let's just bear that in mind. But before I give I'd just like to say this, and His Majesty leave these words with me, and I is moved by it. And I want all of us, act on these motivated words. let us not deny our ideal, nor sacrifice our rights to stand as a champion for the poor, the oppressed, and the ignorant, and the oppressed everywhere. His Imperial Majesty. So when I hear the testimony, or what Michael Duncan and the UNIA stands for, and the Ethiopian World Federation stands for, is exactly that, standing for the ignorant. We have to stand for them and lead, and the poor, and the oppressed people everywhere in the world. And it's only economics. So this, what we witness here right now today is that we are coming together and we're bringing all of these entities, and it's a great achievement, you know. So may we give for the Ethiopian World Federation and the unity of the Ethiopian World Federation and the UNIA working together to stand as champions for the poor and the ignorant everywhere in the world. So it's been a long day, so without no further ado, I'd like to introduce now our International Executive President of the Ethiopian World Federation, Dr. James.
Greetings, everyone. It's an honor to be here and to see all your faces on this most momentous day. I am very happy for everything that I see. As we look around, I think that we can truly say that Federation is rising. And this new relationship that we are embarking on and this coming together with the Federation, the EWF, and the UNIA is historical, and we need to make sure that we continue to focus on us uniting. And I think that that's the key word, and that's uniting. We don't have a whole lot of choices. We may think we have a lot of choices, but we don't. All we have is ourselves. And so we must unite. Now, uniting does not necessarily mean uniformity. As I said the other night on the phone, that uniformity says that we have to do the same thing the same way every day, wear the same clothes, eat the same food, have the same mission. Okay, that's uniformity. But we can unite knowing that we all have a one single divine purpose. And that is us carving out a place of prosperity, of freedom for ourselves and our lives the way that we deserve, and the way that we know that we deserve it. That's why we're here today. We're here because we're in, and we have been, in an abusive relationship. We make excuses, just like most times when we're in an abusive relationship, so that we can just go on and get through the day. He didn't mean it. She said she's sorry. And all of those things. But we have a mandate. And I've had one message since I've been elected president. And that's we must unite or we will die. Right now, we as a people are under attack. Right now, as we speak. Somewhere in this country, a black man is being pulled out of his car right now, being told to get on the ground. Don't ask no questions. I don't have to tell you why. I don't have to do none of that. Just do what I say. Shut up and just do what I say do. That's an abusive relationship. We have our protests, like the president said, about Black Lives Matter. And we have people protesting our protest. What in the world is going on? We protest and we are suffering police brutality as we are protesting police brutality. Meaning they don't care anything about us. Why? Why don't they care anything about us? Because we have been separated. We've allowed them to separate us. We've allowed them to make us believe that we can't do business with other black people. We bought into the myth. We bought into that lie. And then the moment you may have a problem, let's say in a black establishment, you walk out of that establishment and say, that's why I don't like doing business with black people. I'll never go to another black store again. That's what we say. But we go into a white shop, have some problems, walk out of that white store, go right into the next one. Walk out of that one, go right into the next one. Why? Because we have allowed them to create the narrative for us, instead of us creating our own narrative. We have the power within ourselves to change the game all the way around. We have the power to create our own economic system where we don't have to even depend on any outside funds, any outside money. We have the money. President Duncan just told you, he walked out of the room with what, 38,000 or something like that? 380,000. We got money. We just don't know what to do with it. We just don't know how to accumulate it. We don't know how to circulate it amongst ourselves. Listen, I'm going to give you the statistic and then I'm going to sit down because the president already preached. All right. In the so-called Jewish community, okay, the money circulates 23 times before it leaves outside of that community. In the Asian community, the money circulates 16 times before it leaves outside of the community. In our community, the money lasts 6 hours. There is no circulation. 6 hours before we take our money, give it to somebody else, so that they accumulate it, and then come into our neighborhoods, buy up our property, and then rent it back to us with property that they bought with our money. It's a vicious cycle. And we have walked into it and we've brought it hook, line, and sinker. But we've got some plans. We got some ideas. We got some stuff that's in the working that's going to change all of that. We just have not been able to make some announcements yet. But we got some stuff that's big, big, big that could change the lives of black people everywhere. Now is the time. Not tomorrow, right now. So as we talk about buying black, we talked about buying black on Fridays, and we need to buy black every day. We need to start pooling our resources together every day. Every day we can come together. We can shut down public transportation. We can shut down the big businesses. We can shut down the fast food restaurants. We have the power to do that. Do you know Popeyes? Y'all heard of Popeyes? How many of you heard of Popeyes? Raise your hand. All right. They had that chicken sandwich. Y'all remember the chicken sandwich? $65 million we spent on a piece of chicken. Wow. Imagine. Let your mind fathom. Imagine what we could have done with that money. Imagine how many black families we could have fed. How many homeless people we could have gotten off the street. How many people we could have clothed with that money. So we have the money. If we could spend $65 million on a piece of chicken, all of that money should be going to the Rock and in other places that's been established. That's where we ought to be eating. The president is right when he said that what we have here is not for us. The food is not for us. The atmosphere is not for us. Plus, they don't like us. They like what we give them. They like our culture. They like our food. You let them eat some of this food, they lose their mind. So why am I saying all of this? It's time for us to take control of our own destiny. We've waited too long. We've begged too long. We've pleaded too long. We've tried to convince you that we was nice people too long. We to the place now we don't care whether you like us or not. Because it's time for us to take our own destiny and take control of our own selves and build what we need to build for ourselves. Educate our children ourselves. How do we expect for our oppressor to properly educate our children? All they did was spend all of their time and energy was to create members to put back into the labor force to make weekly wage earning slaves. All right? So what we've got to do is we have these opportunities. Now I'm going to sit down. We have these opportunities to change the game. And the fact that you're here lets us know that you're ready to change the game. We're ready to do what we have to do.
Well, we have the possibility.
No excuse. We have the possibilities. And what we ought to be saying every day is enough is enough. That ought to be our cry. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. And we're going to change this. Not tomorrow, not sometime in the future. We're not having no study groups come together to study our problem. We know what we got to do. And we're going to make those changes right now and today. God bless everybody. I'll turn it back over to the Lord.
Just before you eat, I just want to make 2 points because I see so many roster in the house. I want to bring it right home till right now. Yeah. All right. Just a minute. Okay. This is 2022. Yes? Okay. So, just I'm gonna ask you a question because I'm having a little trouble. 2022. I see every place I go. I see plant-based. Plant-based. Everything is plant-based. Who is plant-based? Tell me who is plant-based? But the Rastafari is plant-based. It's called ITIL. Now it's called plant-based. And they are making billions of dollars off of plant-based. We are plant-based. We are stepping up. Don't let me find you in the plant-based restaurant, you know. Don't let me find you in the white boy's restaurant with the plant-based. Because he's coming hard. Listen, in South Africa the other day I had a call. Now South Africa eats the most meat that I've ever seen. They really eat meat. You know, when I was growing up, we had this little, little platter that you put the meat on, and the meat go around and everybody eat off the platter. Well, that's one person's meat in South Africa. That platter. They don't eat vegetables. When I asked the man, I said, well, where's your vegetables? He told me, say, eat chicken. But I said, chicken, not a vegetable. He said, that's my point. I don't eat vegetables. Right. So, plant-based. Are we going to let somebody else come here and make money off of the plant-based? We're supposed to be opening restaurants, not closing. We're closing down. We better be opening up. We got a new restaurant getting ready to pop up here in Harlem, right there on Lexington Avenue, between 125th and 126th. Owner right back there, Sister Tasha. Raise your hand there. So I expect to see you. Yes, she'll be opening soon. Yes, so listen, we have another one, you know, we have one on Madison, and that's Madison Avenue. And we have 2 across the street from each other, 2 black vegetarian restaurants. But, yes, what you say?
Actually 3.
3.
Yeah. Unc's Place, don't forget Unc's Place. The sisters.
Yes, around the corner there's another one. Okay, yes, there's 3. So they're all black-owned restaurants. We need to pop up burgers. Who make burgers? What they know about plant-based. The other thing which is not very popular to some people is the cannabis industry. Yes, the same judge that locked me up for cannabis is now receiving billions of dollars for cannabis. I refuse to let him be the only one that receives the $1 billion for the cannabis. Now they've made cannabis legal. You know it was illegal when the Rasta was. Yeah. It was at the head. We grew it. You know they talk about what they call them, dispensary. Me, I am a dispenser. I've been a dispenser for 50 years. I don't plan to have no one come into my community and make more money off of cannabis than me. If you're not ready to hold cannabis events, Rastafari, in a highness, then sit down, take the back seat, and be quiet. Because this is going to happen. Yes, we want the Marleys to come up. We want the Snoop Dogg. We want that other one, the boxer. These are all big cannabis men. Tyson, the Mike Tyson. The other one, what's the other one name? Wesley Snipes. Come on, there's a lot of them. Whoopi Goldberg. We want to hold our own cannabis events. Who would not come to a Rastafari cannabis event? You know the white boy would be in line. He'll push you out of the way to get in the door. We'll charge him $300 to get in, and he'll pay it! What are we waiting for? We're sitting back, being quiet all in the corner like we're waiting for some crumbs to fall off the table. For me, I'm not a crumb eater. Right, I want to set my own table. Yes, and I know there's a lot of rights in here today, and women. Let us step up and hold our own things with the UNIA and the Federation. As one, we move it together as one. It's powerful. This is a powerful day, you know. A very powerful day. So those are the 2 things I wanted to mention. Was plant-based. Ha ha! I told plant-based. Yes. And cannabis, Rasta cannabis. Where is the Nyabingi Red? Where is that brand? Yes. And where is the Bobashanti Gold? That's what I want to see. I want to see we have our own brand. Who would buy our cannabis? Let's not sleep this. So I give thanks and praises for all those who came today. And food is being served. And we'll come again. Yes, give thanks. What is that? Yes! Right, so plant-based. Oh, that's what I was saying. I was saying about South Africa. Okay, so somebody called me the other day. My point was that South Africa was eating so much meat. Okay, so I have a friend over there. She started a business. Her and some other sisters. Oh, and I can't forget the Jewish girl. She's in it too because she can't get anything in South Africa unless she gets it through us. And I don't like to call it South Africa. Let's call it Azania. That's what it is, Azania. Every time we say South Africa, we're saying white boy. Right. So in Azania, they eat a lot of meat. The other day, the meat man called my sister and said, we'd like some of your samples of plant-based items that you do because we want to go into the plant-based business. And she said, oh, really? He said, yes, he said. Plant-based, he said, is selling more than meat in South Africa, in Azania. Yes. So I just told you it was a meat place. So if we're not, are we blind? I mean, even Stevie Wonder could see. We better wake up. We better step up. What is it?
It was on the news yesterday that plant-based taking over everything.
See, plant-based. No, ITIL is taking over. ITIL. Let's call what it is. You know how they come along? They come along and they learn because wait a minute, but I gotta fault us. I have to fault us because we know damn well the white boy never could cook nothing. But we showed him how to cook. We showed him how to make everything. And now here he is, jump in the beginning. Here we go. He jumped up like, like Columbus discovering America. Right. He jumped up now and said, plant based. He never say, oh, I learned all the right to cooking from the Rastaman. Nor did he say, I learned how to grow ganja from the Rastaman. He never said any of those things. All he did was step up and tell you to get in the back. Is that what we're going to accept? So let me shut up, because I can really get fired up. So I think you said Mama Moses wanted to say something.
Let the next speaker first, and then we're going to try to come in after them.
Huh?
Let the next speaker on them. Oh, you ready? You ready?
You ready?
All right, yeah.
Ethiopian campaign is all about. 126th anniversary of the Adwa victory day. Remember, God and history will know that the prophecy open and is up. We see Italy burning. No more. And this 126th Adwa victory day, no more invasion. No more silence.
Queen Mother Moses.
No more genocidal killings, no more innocent civilians, no more nuclear weapons, no more racist institutions, no more impotent United Nation. Because Ethiopia, the only African country never colonized, says no more. And if you have a heart and you have a brain, you too will decry what's happening in Ukraine. It's a matter of democracy and the people's right to liberty. Russian invasion, bombs and so much explosion, innocent civilian. Russia is clearly the villain. No provocation. What peacekeeping mission? Is this the mind of Satan? Ruling with a nuclear weapon? Now what is ironic, and Queen Mother not just being poetic, yet all of this is so historic, celebrating Adwa 126 battle victory, proving Ethiopia heroic. Yet Russia was one of the few Europeans who spoke out against the Italian and their 1895 unprovoked invasion against innocent Ethiopian civilian. But God and history did hear the testimony and prophetic prophecy and about the Machan League of Nations hypocrisy. So now, United Nations and NATO listen and hear a Jewish President Zelensky and Armenian residency asking if the world don't have a conscience, are clear about nuclear weapons or science. Gideon, conquering lion, watching ungodly invasion by the second Satan. Yeah, Ethiopia never colonized, say, and this Adwa 126 victory day, no more invasion, no more silence, no more hypocrisy, no more genocidal killings, no more innocent civilians, no more nuclear weapons, no more racist institutions, no more impotent United Nations, no more poor, ignorant oppression. Enough is enough. No more. Blessings.
Yes, Mother Moses, give thanks. So, the next speaker.
No, full time.
Full time? Break time? And sound like it's a break now. Oh, you want? Okay, go ahead.
If you really want to know the truth now.
Just learn.
First select.
It's just reaching on me out, right? Because we finalized everything up at the embassy. I'm not sure how much the item could see when we were there, because I saw afterwards that there was a message saying that I was blocking the screen. But it's the first time I'm doing anything like that anyway, in terms of live streaming or whatever. But no, but just to say, we had, just to say before you have your break time.
Well, can we see you? Can we see you, sweet sister? Can we please see you?
Yeah, I'm actually just reaching my house here. Just to say, we had a wonderful, great, beautiful day at the embassy. And we had one of the staunch Marcus Garvey, what can I say, leader Mandeka from the Alcavo land was there as well. Yeah, you know him, right? So he was there, in the morning, and then he had to leave to go to work. You know, but we had I could see she's on the line. Well, let her go. You know, the chair of the Nyabingi house. We had, quite a few people. We didn't get as much crowd as we would have liked, but who was there needed to be there. And yeah, we had it was nice. It was a nice session. You know what I mean? It was a nice, nice time. You know, standing up for Ethiopia. You know, acknowledging, and the ambassador sat with us, and it was a good reason. I don't know how much of it you caught, because we did try to live stream that, so I don't know how much of that you caught, but it was not a good reasoning.
Yeah, we caught all of it. Give thanks.
Right. Well, give thanks. I don't need to say no more. All in all, it was in terms of numbers coming out. I wouldn't say that, you know, in terms of number, it was any great numbers, but in terms of preparation and actually seeing the event come off, I think that was a good effort, if I have to say so myself. Give thanks. Officer, many are calling me choose now if you don't watch number. No, that's
So
it,
that
right?
sister just spoke was our second elect member from the first elect from the Ethiopian World Federation.
Can you get her back?
Oh, Sister Willett, Sister Emma, I want to talk to you.
Empress.
Greetings, Field General. How are you today?
I'm very well.
Yes, I. Well, the Field General here, yeah, she's not only our first elect, she's the chairman of the parade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so her title, I give her Field General because she orders us all around. And we better listen, right? And it's good orders. Not so, Field General?
Yeah, well, I tried.
How was your day today? How was your day? Was good?
It was a good day. You know, we had, it was a good day. We had 2 police escorts today because where we had to go. You know what I mean? They were all ready and willing to help. You know, so they did that. You know, the ambassador was there from early in the morning because I had to go to the embassy early in the morning to pick up some things, yeah? And because they were very accommodating, you know, they being able to get inside the building. Got food, which we bought, Ethiopian food. They bought us 2 cases of water because, you know, anything that they saw we didn't have, they just bought and gave it to us. And so it's the beginning of a relationship, you know, and what we need to do is foster that, not just with us in London, but across the board, because the theme that came out more so than ever today is the unity across the globe. You know what I mean? With all black organizations, with our black leaders. You know what I mean? So it was a great day. The message got out there in as much as leader from Alcohol Land. He's invited us to a meeting on Sunday because he said there's a message that he wants to deliver. And it's a message from one of His Imperial Majesty's speech. So everyone out there, whether it's Rasta or not, is getting to understand or overstand the role that His Majesty played, because even the ambassador, you know, talked about His Imperial Majesty, although he didn't relay the grand reticence down back to Menelik, because it should have started in Menelik time, but he gave the history of His Imperial Majesty taking it on, right, and said, well, he couldn't do it in his time, but the future generation will do it. And see, we have the evidence today, you know, of the dam being open and Ethiopians can now have electricity and the rest of Africa. You know. So yes, that was for me. It's a great day.
Yes,
great, great day. One of the greatest days. Yeah,
Ecstatic.
yeah.
Over the moon.
Yeah.
Well done.
Give thanks. Yeah. Give thanks and praise. You know what I mean? We, you know, everyone, and the spirit was with us. Everyone. You know what I mean? We're not gonna take credit for this one. The spirit was there. Everyone.
I look like we alone.
Even
The rest of the
even if ones weren't on the line, the spirit was with us. You know, the ancestral spirit was with us. Our individuals was with us. And we just have to move forward, steadfast, and think and find out the unity. Give thanks.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I.
I don't know that was London.
Yes, I. Give thanks, Sister Wolete. I just want to give thanks and praises to a few special people without today, without their help. I want to thank Sister Elana. Yes. Yes. Give thanks. And I want to thank Sister Unity. Yes. We Tasha back there trying to hide and be shy. Yes. That's right. Mikey Don. Yes. Ross Iron. Why without them this today wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't have happened. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I see my Harlem team here. We're going to be having things in front of the state office building. We're going to be seen in Harlem. You know, it's time for Rastafari to step up together. We have to put our differences aside, whatever we call ourselves, whether we call ourselves whatever. You know, we're black people. We need to step up where we're supposed to be at the head of the realm and do what we have to do. So I give thanks again for the presidents here and our new member, Dr. Duncan. Well, I mean, I'm going to call you Dr. Duncan. I can listen to you all day. You could give me, I said it till you was ready to finish. You let it go already. Next time, you know how long Marcus Garvey could talk? Right, okay.
I could talk just as long, sister.
Well, I said, you said how long you had. Bored? We weren't bored. We've been needing this.
Energized.
We were energized. This was a shot in our arms. Yeah. You know, we really give that. And I want to thank our president here, you know, for, first of all, for being here, you know, and for being the president at this time when what our people need is for the president of these two organizations to come together and work together. So the march was only a beginning, and it was a very good energy. So give thanks and praises here. Yeah. Make sure you get you some food.
It's a true honor for this to be held today here in this space, the sacred space. I'm currently serving as the president. I've been here for over 20 years now. And I want to say that what you're being here is an example of what the mission is. To bridge culture with the music, with the spirituality, with our liberation. I know Michael Duncan is